Well, hello there. And this is Auntie, and I am coming out to catch up with my family. So glad to be back out here in the land of the cotton freaking living. Hi, everybody. Let me see who that was first. Let me put my glasses on. Well, hello. I don't know what that name is. Oh my goodness. I'm hoping that Sarah is getting a notification because I absolutely miss you too. Oh, I miss you all too, family. Hi, family. I totally forgot to tell Sarah I was going live. You can tell my life is just, she here. Hi, boo. I'm so sorry. I had such a busy day. Hi, family. It is so good to be back out here on the YT with you all. Yes, I have my glass. Best auntie ever. Let me see if you all can see that. No. Best auntie ever. I have to remind myself of that because I feel like I have absolutely and totally neglected you all. But I have been so busy. And I miss you all to pieces. I just want us to raise our glasses and to say, welcome back to the family. I'm so sorry that you all have not been able to get out here with one another because if I don't come out, you don't really get to come out with each other unless you're going to the Facebook Cozy Cousin Corner. So cheers, cling, to being back. Cling, 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 cling. Oh my goodness. There has been so much that has been going on. Um, and I just wanted to kind of come out here on a cozy Sunday night and just kind of catch up with everything. As you can see, I'm gonna do a hodgepodge of subject matters and just kind of catch up with you all. One of the things that has been going on out here in the YT land is the stuff that has been going on with the Queen's Court. As you all know, T.S. Madison will be back on tomorrow, 10 o'clock Color People's Time. And she's coming out with Queen Supreme or Supreme Queen or whatever the hell it is. And I know that I have been looking at Sean Bradley, ATL Lean, um, Kaya, T.S. Madison, and a lot of their channels, and I have been seeing you all out there. So I figured that you probably wanted your auntie's opinion about all of this. I have been very silent on it and didn't really want to give an opinion about it, but I will be doing that before we sign out for tonight. But anyway, I'm just happy to be back out here. I did have an opportunity to look at Married at First Sight, and I do want to talk a little bit about that. Um, last episode we watched our boy Ryan give Jacqueline, just kind of a little runaround. This man talks a really good game, and he is just full of it. I mean, there's no other way of saying it. The man is full of it. He wants her to accept him the way that he is, hanging out with his friends at all. First of all, this man, Ryan, has only been married to Jacqueline for about a month. Okay, so let's give it an extra two. Let's say 6 weeks, a month and a half. And he's talking about, how the boy's been missing him, and, he's basically hanging out, and she wants to have time with him. We see him, trying to work on a project with his friend and ask his friend, tell his friend about an argument that he had with Jacqueline, and, getting the friend's advice. I don't know whether or not the friend is married or has been married or what's going on with the friend, but, at this point, Ryan, you just did wrong. He went out to a social event for his job, and he knew that he had a date with his wife, and he calls, instead of him coming home and going on that date with his wife, he decides that he's going to call his wife and tell his wife that, oh, hey, do you mind if I stay out later? Okay. The thing about it is, if you really were into your wife and she was just not a wife of convenience to you, you would not have gone. Because, or if you was going to the social function knowing that you and your wife has something to do afterwards, you probably should have taken your wife with you so that you all could excuse yourself at some point in the evening and go out. Jacqueline is sitting there talking to Ryan, and all he knows how to do is interrupt her sentences. He talks at her and talks to her like she is a child. And I don't know when Jacqueline is going to absolutely be done with this idiot. But I digress so that I don't get excited. Clink, 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 clink. They're not getting excited. But anyway, he makes a decision that, he's not going to come home, and then, he doesn't think that she's going to be feeling some kind of way about it. Of course she's going to feel some way about it when you all were supposed to be going out on a date and you don't show up. You don't do, basically what you're supposed to do as a husband, as a friend, as whatever. And basically he's just a whole lot of talk and just no actions. His actions shows that he really does not value time with her. And like I said before in a previous review, I believe that that is her love language. That her love language is quality time. I don't know what his is. I still have yet to figure that out. I don't know if it's the bro time or what it is, but he absolutely does not give her the time that she wants from him. And I don't know when she's going to tire of him, but I would have already been tired of him. Then we got, sticking about Molly, her and her boy John, they basically still stuck at the same point. She still ain't gave him none. And I don't know what she's waiting on to do that. He has been extremely patient with her. As far as I'm concerned, more patient than probably any man or woman would have been in this relationship, because although sex is not everything, it is everything, and it is your way of communicating your love and affection to another person. It is also your way of satisfying your partner. And for a lot of men who deal with stress and different things on the job, sex is also a release for them. And so John, who is currently in a new marriage, doesn't even have a job. So, when she gets home, he's Mr. Man sitting at home. And I know that that has to do a lot. I mean, it has to affect his ego a lot. And then to have a woman who is unattracted to you, quote unquote, as she says, as she puts it, really is probably just tearing this man down in the inside. I don't know how he has this. He's like he has the patience of a god, because he hasn't, to our knowledge, stepped outside of the relationship, and I probably would have by now, frankly, just went on and got satisfied. Come on and do it, do it till you're satisfied. Okay. Um, they don't have anything else going on. They all go and sit down with the one of the counselors, and the women do, and they sit down and they discuss. Um, they have to rank their relationship. They have to rank where they see from one being bad and 10 being the best. They're supposed to give, a numerical, evaluation. She had the audacity to give her relationship a 7. I don't know where she is, but when she went home to John and said it to John, because she wanted to discuss that with him, before he knew what she ranked them, he said, "What did you do? Rank it a 3?" It's amazing that she can see herself at a 7 in this relationship. I just think that she is just totally disillusioned and does not have a grip on this relationship. Like, how could you even think that you are a 7? You're not pleasant to be around. You argue about the smallest things. You don't appear to appreciate what the man does for you. You tease him, put a red wig on and tease him only not to please him. You just, how could you rank the relationship a 7? And so what it says to me is that you're a selfish individual, that everything is about you, and that you're ranking it based on how you feel about yourself. She says, it's important for her to go and get her nails done and to get her eyelashes blinged out until they looking like, tarantulas on her face. And it's important for her hair, but I'm saying, so why is it not important for you to fix that acne on your face? Maybe if you got some of that, what I'm saying, on your face, it might clear that up. But anyway, your auntie ain't supposed to talk like that. Y'all got them little sensitive ears, and so I ain't supposed to talk that way. But maybe if she got, some of that, what I'm saying, that cream, what I'm saying, on her face, it might clear it up for her. I don't know. And then we see, our girl Shawnice and Jeffy, who seems like their relationship is, you know, still on the money. She gives them a 7.9 because she says that her husband, she wants him to trust her and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm just saying, boo, is still rather early, and, trust has to be earned and not given. And so when they had this exercise where they had to exchange phones just for an hour, just 1 hour, they were responsible for exchanging phones. And Jeopardy was like, nah, no, I ain't changing no phone with anybody. I'm not there with her yet. And Jacqueline and Ryan, they exchanged phone, no biggie. Even Molly and John exchange phones. But Jeopardy is the type of guy who doesn't want someone to tell him what to do. And I didn't understand that, but yet I understood because our telephones have become almost an extension of who we are. And so if he's not open with certain parts of his life, certainly he's not ready, willing, and able to share his phone. And she gets an attitude. And I'm saying, you know what, as a mature woman, as a grown up woman, I know that it's very easy to say what you would do in a situation. But I just would have brushed that off as just whatever. I think I would have been able to empathize and sympathize with him because I wouldn't have wanted to share mine either. One of the mistakes that she made in saying was, I don't have anything to hide. Well, Jeffy didn't say he had anything to hide. He just wasn't ready to share that place in him. He started looking through his phone. He probably doesn't have pictures of naked women and stuff like that on his phone. And even if he did, I'm sure it's probably prior to the marriage. But, she started tripping and acting real immature, and Jeopardy left out of the household. And I thought that that was good. It was no need for him to stay in there and argue, because one thing about females is a man can take time if he wants to argue with us. But when we have made a decision that we are right and we feel justified in our argument, there's no way he's going to win it. So, we'll see what happens to Married at First Sight. I'm just absolutely ready for the show to go off, and I'm just gonna go ahead on to be honest with you about it. Um, I really want to see, the ending part. What do they do? I would rather them follow up with the couples. Show us the wedding or the marriage take place. Show us the honeymoon, show us a couple of weeks, show the couples, make a decision, and then show us what happens the week after they've made the decisions. That's what I'm more interested in, as opposed to having to find that out through social media, the Shade Room, or Reddit, or whatever. I would rather see that play out on air. But anyway, that is, that's it for me with Married to Medicine. I mean, I got that mess on my brain. To Married at First Sight. And speaking of Married to Medicine, if you all are watching that this season, it's been so much that has been going on. Married to Medicine was one of those particular shows that I had made up my mind that I just was not going to review, because it was just so messy. And a lot of times I don't like to come out here and talk negatively about people and tear people down. And I just didn't think that there were any things that were happening on the show that were positive or represented African American women in a positive light. And I was absolutely correct. Looking at the reunion, I've looked at the reunion, I've looked at a couple of the shows and everything, but I got really despondent and disheartened because I was watching Quad's behavior towards her husband, Dr. Greg. And I was watching his behavior towards her. Also, we know that, Cecil and Simone have been going through some counseling sessions with one another. Every time you turned the TV on, you had Toya on there talking about, her man, you know, masturbating and, the sex she wasn't getting. And then we had Jacqueline and her man cheating on her, and, them trying to get back together again and work that out. And then we continued to see, Dr. Heavenly calling, her husband daddy. Cheers to daddy. Okay. With the side eye. All right. So, but anyway, we've seen the reunion, part one and part two. And part two was just, like, okay, off the Richter scale. We saw Simone go into this screaming dialogue, if you will, about her husband and her getting a divorce. How she was talking to him, he felt like he didn't want to go to the counselor anymore. And she was like, if you walk out that door, it's over. And we saw all the women on the sofa getting all emotional about it and all of that kind of stuff. And, that cutting up or whatever. And we see Simone screaming and hollering and acting, just a plum fool out there about the situation. I just was like, okay, yeah, whatever. I mean, whatever. I think that Simone was just determined that she was going to divorce her husband. First of all, you were already living in two separate homes. And, when you file for a divorce, you have to prove that, you've been separated from this person for a certain period of time. I felt like as a doctor, as a wise African-American woman, that she had already had this stuff planned out when she was living in the South house and he was living in the North house. When she was living on the East and he was living on the West. Simone had already basically planned this thing out and knew that she was going to divorce Cecil. going through the counseling session was almost like, trying to have a leg up so you could tell the judge that you tried to do everything that you could before straight up take him for bad. I don't know whether or not they have a prenup agreement. They both have made big expenses on each other. You know what I'm saying? She buys a car, he buys a company. And so they were both going down two different paths anyway. The only thing I think that was basically holding them together was their children. They got one child that's going off to college, Howard University, and then they have the other child that's just about out the house. So I think that Simone was basically done with that marriage. So her sitting up on the couch screaming with a corset on, looking like, Count Dracula's wife. I just was like, okay, so that was just so unnecessary. It was no need for you to even do all of that. Um, just say what you got to say and be done with it. But to have somebody that's just constantly screaming like Dr. Simone screamed, like, God dang, that's like it's too much. Then Dr. Heavenly, who plays all the time, is, she's sitting over there crying. And every time she cries, I can't take her serious. And I can't take her serious because she's unapologetically rude and nasty and mean. And at some point, you have to have consideration for other people, and Dr. Heavenly doesn't have that. We saw her husband talk about how much he loves her and all of that kind of stuff, and good for them, good for them. But Quad's whole thing is about TV. She is out here to do TV, to make TV as messy as it can. And then she goes back to her loving relationship with her husband and her daughter and her son. But she leaves so much blood and carnage on the ground. And I just think it's despicable of her to act like that. To go back there, as nasty and as mean as Mariah is, okay? Because Mariah got her stuff with her too. She wants everybody to kiss her butt because she was, the executive producer, and ended up the girls, went against her and started, turning and flipping and doing what they do with the whoop whoop and the boo boo boo. But anyway, she, Dr. Heavenly to go back there and write on Mariah's picture, I thought was extremely childish. I thought that the other women found joy and comfort in it, and they let her do what she wanted to do. And I thought that what she did was inexcusable. There is no reason for you, regardless of whether or not this woman is delusional, blows herself up, thinks so too high of herself or whatever, for you to go in there as a woman and take and write on what are you saying, sweetie? Let me see what you're saying. Okay. Um, for her to, to write on her picture and put those, the horns on there and a mustache on her, it just was disrespectful. And you don't deface somebody's property. So, but my whole thing is, you thought it was nothing when Mariah came back on the stage, and Andy was, trying to be, shady. He's so shady. And Andy's out there and he's saying, are you going to apologize? And she's like, it's no big deal. Well, when somebody defaces your car or your house or something that you own or your husband owns or your children own, just remember that you were not woman enough to apologize. What's she saying? It is, huh? Okay, thank you, Marion. Okay, I was like, what? um, when somebody defaces her property, hopefully she'll see, that it's not funny. It's not something that you take lightly. Woman up. And then the thing about it is all the other women excuse her behavior, let her do, what she wants to do, all because they have this hatred towards Mariah. But it's not excusable, because if Mariah had did that, they all would have been acting, cuckoo for Cocoa Pops. And then we see Quad. And, during the seasons we've been seeing Quad, just despondent, not there, just numb in the face, just separated from everybody, and it's just been like, okay, well, what the hell is wrong with Quad? We've seen her and her husband having all these arguments, her and Dr. Greg having all these arguments and disagreements, and how she feels like, she's not being supported by her husband, the big deal she made about him not taking out the trash. And then we understand that this Negro, this educated Negro, goes out, and I'm being nice. I'm being nice tonight. I am being nice tonight. He goes out with his buddy. They meet two women. He goes in to a hotel room with one of the women. And then he chickens out and he realizes the errors of his ways, and he leaves the hotel. He pays for the night for this woman. When the receipt comes through the door, he makes a decision. She makes a decision to try to get money out of him. And I'm saying, what the hell? So now we understand Quad's position. Now we understand why Quad has been disconnected from the group, why she has been disrespectful to her husband, seemingly, why she doesn't seem to have a lot to say, why she's, frustrated when she talks to her girlfriends. She's been trying to reach out about this thing that her husband did, and instead of her husband really owning up and taking responsibility for himself, he's going to come to her and say, look, are you going to help me or not? This woman is trying to extort money out of me. And she wants her marriage, but she wants to feel appreciated and respected in the marriage. And you now got some woman about to extort money, not from you, but from us. And he doesn't understand when she makes the comment and says, you're my husband, and it's my job to make you look good. See, you got a good thing with Quad, regardless of whatever they got going on in their marriage. I ain't got nothing to do with that. This is her biggest finger point. Because see, when he found out what was going on with Dr. Jackie and her husband, he excused that behavior. He was so at his wit's end with Quad and the stuff that he was covering up and the stuff that he was going through, that he excused the infidelity of Jackie's husband, Dr. Jackie's husband. I wonder why. Because you was out there doing your thing. And yes, many people have said that since Quad has been on Sister Circle and all these other things, that she has changed and she's uppity and she thinks she's all this and she thinks she's all that. Quad had been fighting her own demons and her husband's demons behind the scenes where we all never saw it. Does that excuse her behavior? Absolutely not. But it, for me, explained her behavior. Because if my husband was laid up in a hotel room, whether he changed his mind or not, he already did it. See, because the Bible says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. The Bible also goes and talks about that if a man lusteth in his heart and in his mind, he has already committed it. Now, whether or not you went in her or you didn't go in her, whether or not you licky or she sticky, for me, you've already cheated, because emotionally, you are already having an affair with this woman. Let me see what you're saying down here in this comment. 777 trouble. Yes, Auntie, everybody was mad at Quad, but she had a reason to, and baby she keep down and never said a thing. He was the one who brought it up. But did anybody catch Dr. Gwen? He said when the receipt came, oh, Dr. Greg. when it came in the morning, the girl held it. And now my question is, how does he know it came in the morning? Did he really leave? Yes, because all hotel receipts, if you've traveled anywhere, I don't care if you've traveled a block away from your home, you know that the hotel receipt comes in under the door in the morning time. I mean, that's just when they deliver it right before checkout time. So I don't believe that he was there. I think that that's just, basically kind of common knowledge. If you stayed in a hotel room, you know basically when those receipts show up. And they don't show up that night, they show up in the morning. So, who is that? Those little hearts on there. Hi, y'all. Just going on. I miss y'all. I want to get y'all. Hi, Michelle Rodriguez. Hi, baby. So, I mean, basically, um, it does explain Quad's, the distance that we've seen in her heart, in her eyes, in her actions. I mean, even when the ladies was on the boat, and I think that when I really noticed something was wrong with Quad is when the ladies were on the boat, and Dr. Heavenly was talking about, going to the church and where her husband's with daddy father had passed away, and just going back and letting him see where his father was going to church at and all of that kind of stuff. And she was talking, and Quad just was like, you got some hot sauce. And it was like she was so disconnected from that conversation. And when they said something to her, just a blank look in her face and her eyes, it's like she hasn't been there. And I think I wouldn't be there either. One thing about it is, it's it is very, very hard for women to be successful. And how can I say this without nobody trying to get up into my chinny chin chin? It's very hard to be a successful woman in corporate America and then have a very successful husband and balance that relationship where your success doesn't take anything away from his success. And in supporting him, you don't feel belittled or unappreciated. When Dr. Greg had his office opening and Quad was going in decorating, that was that woman side of her. But then there's that business side to her. And I think that Dr. Greg doesn't respect what Quad does. And yes, in this day and age, social media, people are successful in social media. Hi, Katie. People are successful in social media, and a lot of people feel like, oh, you got a YouTube channel, or you got a TV show, or you have a blog and you're successful. How are you making money off of that? But people are making millions of dollars in non-traditional ways. When I was growing up, you didn't know anything about Google or the internet or anything like that, let alone YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, all these different platforms where people are able to make money. And so traditionally, he went to school, he became a doctor, and he's successful. But to see your wife, come up off of a reality TV show and, take that show and grow her empire into other income sources, for a lot of men, it's hard for them to swallow that because they want that traditional wife of, sitting home. But Kwa has always had that go get it mentality, even when she was trying to do Perfect Pops. And when her puppy had a spill and a little poo poo in the household, and he said something, no, well, that's your perfect pup. It was so shady towards her business and where she was trying to go to in her life. Dr. Jackie's success, caused her husband to go out and cheat on her. And he was saying he basically didn't have the time. She didn't have time for him. And, I'm sure that as doctors, it is really hard to balance your life out. I know that right now I'm working. I have my YouTube channel. I'm in school. I'm a mom. And I absolutely don't know how to even fathom thinking about balancing a man in there in my life, even though men are attracted to me and do want to, holler at your auntie. The shop is closed because I don't have time to even bring somebody into my life that way unless we just gonna be like having a fling type thing. It is unfair for me to even try to incorporate a man and the things that go along with trying to please him and please me and have a successful relationship. So I don't even bother. I put the shop is shut down. I know how to present myself as unavailable, and unfortunately for me, that's what I have to do. I am trying to build an empire so that I can leave a legacy and an inheritance to my daughter. I've chosen not to be married, and that was something I chose to do. And right now in this time of my life, until May or June, I can't even think about a man. Auntie is working out and squeezing that in at 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. I haven't even been able to come out here and upload videos. Like I've just been busy. My life has been, upside down. And to bring a man in, nah. Nah. So I don't see how they're balancing this newfound fame along with their practices, along with their families, their husbands. And so we see, all of their marriages, with the exception of Dr. Heavenly, who has learned how to balance this thing out by being ignorant and not taking the show seriously. We've seen all their marriages and their family. Contessa, Miss Renee, just flat out came out the bag and called all kinds of bitches and, stuff like that. We saw her have to, fire her. And then we saw the children feeling neglected and wanting to be with their mother, and her having to make a decision as a woman to say, I have to walk away from my practice. And, but why didn't the husband feel compelled to walk away from the practice? I mean, I'm not criticizing her. I'm not judging her. I'm just saying, as women, we take on so much as women. We make the bacon, and then we fry the bacon, and then we serve the bacon. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, I ain't trying to get deep out here. I'm just saying, as a woman, we wear so many hats and so many what you say? Very true. Thank you. We wear so many hats in a relationship and in our families and in our lives and in society, till it could be backbreaking. And then, to have to, build this man's ego up and make him feel good about himself. Well, what about me? Cling, 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 cling to all of the women who are making it happen, who are making it do what it do, who are balancing relationships and their children and their career. Cling, cling, cling to you. I'll drink to that. I'm telling you, it's just a lot. And we see Toya. Toya is just, she's just ready for the sex. Her husband comes home, plops $50,000 down there. He's been working his ass off. Wait a minute, what you saying, baby? Donna Dixon said, come on, auntie, you need that occasion companion for dinner or movies, a walk on the beach. Your daughter will be off on her life someday. What about my auntie? I want you to have that outlet too. Absolutely. Oh, thank you, Donna. Absolutely. I want that outlet too, but right now I am trying to build a career. My daughter is out of the house, believe it or not. She's out of the house now. She's in school. Right now she's home. So that's why, y'all see me keeping it clean a little bit. But my daughter is out of the house. This is the best time of my life. And yes, I do want that companion to have dinner with and to do all of that kind of stuff with, but I don't want to open up the door to the possibility of there being anything else. And the men that I have been meeting, or that have been interested in me, are looking for what I am not able to give. Now, if I was willing to date a man that was 20 years my junior, then I could have fun with him, bang him out real quick, let him break my back out, you know what I'm saying, curl my toes up real good, and I could come on home. But I value myself more than just that occasional tricked out daddy. So for me, maybe sometime, like I said, in May or June, I may open up the door to that. But for right now, there's no need in me bringing a man into my life to trick him, bamboozle him, or to confuse him into thinking that I want companionship. Because one thing you have to realize is that a lot of people traditionally believe that women, God, they want to be married. Every woman wants to be married. Every man wants a woman. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of women like myself, we don't desire that. And I'm not open to that right now because I'm really career go. I have a task and something that I want to do. I have an empire that I want to build. And while my daughter is out of the house, I do want to dedicate myself to self-improvement and to making sure that I live the best life that I can, and to give her an inheritance that she could live off of, when I'm dead, gone, buried, and okay, resurrected or whatever. But absolutely, I would like that companionship. But I know that the men that I have been meeting and the men who are interested in me, they not looking for a hoe. They not looking for a trick. They're not looking for somebody that, they can spend occasional nights with just empty promises of nothing the next day. I'm not meeting those kind of caliber of men. The kind of caliber of men that I'm meeting want a lasting, loving, honest relationship. And I think that as an older woman, I should be giving them that. Um, and so I guess that's where I am. But Donna, thank you so much for wanting that for me. But your auntie will get that, auntie's been working on her weight and everything, and my little face coming down, my body coming down, and so I'll be a little hot tamale this summer. You know what I'm saying? And then at that time I'll have time. But right now, while I'm in school and trying to just balance out the basic things in my life, I don't want that. But I salute women who are doing that, and I understand when I look at Toya, I'm like, Toya's at home all day, with her kids, and that's one of the hardest jobs in the world, is to take and rear children. So I don't look at it in a bad way and say she's not doing anything or contributing to the household, because she is, because her husband is able to go out and work those hours and clear that, those internal revenue bills and stuff up, because she is at home rearing the children. I just, Married to Medicine was very interesting. We see that there is really a all-out war on marriages. And so, if you're married to somebody, work on it. Really work on that relationship, learn how to talk and communicate, compromise where you can, and where you can't compromise, make sure you stand up, but still be a support. You can agree and be agreeable in that thing. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to turn into an all-out war going on all up in the household and everything. Okay. That's enough about me and them. But then I looked at Little Women. The Little Women are just absolutely and completely out of control. And the show, to me, this year has been absolutely boring as hell. The storyline has gone from one little wench to another little wench, and with a baby in the middle of it. I looked at this show, and we see Sam, who I thought allegedly was gay, and now we see her with this boyfriend Michael, we met her mother and her father, who are absolutely beautiful. We met Tanya's dad, who's just like, what? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing, Booger? How you doing, Booger? Okay, so we met their parents and everything, but Sam decides that she's dating this guy for 2 hours and 45 minutes, and so she's going to invite him out to dinner to meet her family and really think that he's going to show up. It's like, you know what? And everybody's at the table, in front of the girl's parents, because I don't know why the little women don't have more discretion than they do. But they like, we're going to support her. We're going to say something positive because basically, okay. She need to be working on that congestive heart failure. Sitting up there looking like a madam with a daggone green fur on. I said, what is she, some kind of madam? I just was like, what the complete. So, you meet somebody for 2 hours and 45 minutes long distance, and you invite them to the family dinner and around your friends. So, she go outside and she call him, and, of course he ain't going to show up. And then, when we saw him, I was just like, what the hell is going on? I mean, huh? That's the kind of stuff that, had you at the table. When you have uncomfortable situations at a table, and I would have been at the table like, okay. But the dad is like, a little pissed off and everything. He's like, I love you, baby. I wanted to see you. But I'm thinking to myself, come on now, Sam. Oh, thank you so much for the super chat. Who is that? Hi, Bertha. Hi, sweetie. I'm going to talk about the Queen's Court at the end of this. But thank you, Bertha, for the $2 super chat. Appreciate that. So, it's like, okay. And then we got, Fire, a.k.a. Lil V, a.k.a. Lil Stripper, okay, a.k.a. Fishnet, a.k.a. you look a hot-ass mess, a.k.a. her stockings was rolling down her thighs and wasn't fitting on her right, a.k.a. what the hell is really going on, a.k.a. were some of those women in there naked, a.k.a. what for real, a.k.a. Fire and Desire, a.k.a. you had the nerve to find somebody, a.k.a. Abria, come on now. I was like, are you cotton freaking kidding me? So Abria decides that she gonna go head on and make her own stuff happen. So you gonna act like you in the Players Club. New Jack City. And you gonna strap. But you coming out there with some dirty, going camping shorts on and a fishnet, like Abria, for real? Like that was the only costume you could find? Like, young, I know what you got to do. I know we do what we got to do to feed our babies. But seriously, though? And then you raking, dollar bills off from your girls. And I'm saying, Abria, that's all you could do? That's the only thing that you could think of doing was getting up there, and then you had the nerve, the audacity, the unmitigated gall to sit up there and criticize the two tiny twerking twins when they went and had their little gig. You had the nerve, and then you come out there looking like a bag lady. Bag lady, you gonna hurt yourself carrying those bags like that. No, 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 no. Did y'all see her, Bria? Did y'all see her when she tried to come down there, when she was up there hanging up on that pole upside down, and she caught herself coming down and sliding into a split? I said, I don't know if that was a straight split, a Chinese split, an Asian split, a Jamaican split, what kind of split that was. But I was like, Bria, go back up that pole, boo, flip up on top of your head, come back down, try that again. Because that didn't work out. That didn't work out. And then, Juicy is saying, it's one thing for you to go out there and get your own gigs and, you come out there with fire because you can still protect the name of Little V. Miss Juicy is saying, I'm trying to look out for your career long term. And Abria is like, nah, young, I'm living for the day. I'm living for the weekend. I need to get my money now. I need to get my papers now. And you're not doing what you need to do. The last thing I had was, basically my one little gig, hustle and flop. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, I just was like, what is this? Abria, I was really rooting for you. I was hoping. Oh my God, I cannot be laughing like this. I was really hoping that you was gonna get your stuff together, but yo, you straight got on. There is no hope for you. Can't nobody help you. And that Juicy probably wasn't doing what she needed to do. Okay, she probably wasn't. But a strip club, young, this is not hustle and flow. I just was like, okay. And, the girls is out there, giving her dollars, and they out there supporting it and everything. And I guess, you would support your girlfriend, but I was like, okay, whatever. Then we got Tanya, who just is confused as hell. An episode and a half ago, okay, because they are Little Women, so they got half episodes. She sits up there, her and Devon decide that they're going to get married. Devon, brings the daddy in and everything, and he asked the daddy for her hand in marriage. And the minute he sniffed and smelled, the wax on and wax off of Nico, he makes a decision that he gonna back up out of it. You weren't serious anyway. And Nico's never going away. My daughter and I was looking at it today, and she was like, they always calling him. Somebody be calling him. Because how did he know? Now either it's the daddy or it's the producers that is calling Nico and getting Nico involved in this storyline. Because here the girl is up there in New York and she's chilling doing what she do with the whoop whoop and the boop boop boop. And, and the next thing you know, you see Nico show up. Because, Devon made a decision because Nico was in the picture and she went to, had the babies with him. 2 of the babies that she has are his. The likelihood of her being with him is 50-50. I mean, it's not 1%. She's going to be with Nico. And we all know that Tanya loves Nico. And Nico loves Tanya, but he loves men too. Okay, so now she's open. She's vulnerable. She decides she keep the babies. I'm going to go ahead on and go away. One thing I can say is about Tanya, she got a hell of a support system because they be keeping them babies for her, okay? But anyway, so she's up there and here comes Nico. Nico's out there screaming again. He's like Simone. He's screaming and hollering because, basically he's like, you love me. She said, I love you. But I don't want you. Then I look at her, she coming back, she falling all out, and she going through a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm just like, Tanya, be done with both of them. Start over. One thing I can say about Tanya, she's a very attractive woman, but she really, really, really need to consider some type of birth control. Like she really do. Um, Minnie, she just kind of poofed away this year. I guess after her congestive heart failure and her mother moved in, we haven't seen much of Minnie. Minnie really did not have a storyline this year, unfortunately, and fortunately for us. She didn't have a storyline. All the thing that we saw her doing was driving around signifying the whole entire season, trying to find out what's going on with the tiny twerking twins. Good riddance. Hopefully they'll write her off. Money, faking like, her and Moreland gonna have children. Moreland don't want no children. Moreland on the road eating chicken, boo. And chitlins. On the side of the road, that is. Wonder what he doing with that bed in the back of that 18-wheeler. Money, you need to be getting out on the road more often. And then Juicy. Juicy allegedly called herself buying a house. She up in the house having parties and everything. And then they showed the dag on television, show the house, the outside of the house. And the thing says the house is under contract. Whose contract? Who has a contract on the house? Did Minnie buy, did Miss Juicy Baby buy the house or didn't she buy the house? Because if you bought the house, why does the sign still say under contract? Shouldn't the sign have been changed by now to say so? No, I don't know. I'm going to real estate school right now. As many of you all know, I'm getting ready to get my commercial real estate license. And so I'm just saying, okay, so, don't you change that sign once the contract is signed, sealed, and delivered, and all the contingencies and all of that stuff has been met, and the buyer and the seller have made an agreement to sell the property? Don't you take that under contract sign off and make that sign, turn that sign around to say sold? I think that is the dream of a real estate salesperson or a real estate agent or broker or whoever you are. Your dream is to put a sold sign on the outside of the house. So why does it say under contract? But you in there having a party and the twins is eating meatballs and Andrea is bringing in her 300th baby. Because y'all know Andrea has 300 children, allegedly. The child that she just had, she doesn't know whether or not she's going to put it up for adoption. Why don't you adopt your vagina out? Well, why don't you take that and adopt that out so that you no longer have any accidents that happen outside of that thing? Put that up for adoption. Why don't you foster that out? Since you want to, put stuff up for adoption, adopt out your little small vajayjay. Do you know what I'm saying? Put that up for adoption. Right. Right, loveliness. Right. Tied, burned, and clipped. Because how do you, no, don't get it twisted. There are women who make decisions, they get pregnant and they make decisions to put their children up for adoption. Some women do that. And you know what? A woman has a right to choose. But when you just plopping out baby after baby after baby after baby with an irresponsible baby daddy, and you just, you make a decision and say, I think I'm going to take this baby along with the baby that's already with my parents and give them the responsibility in their old age of taking care of this baby too. Foster your vagina out. Let that little thing go somewhere and have a new life. Won't you do that? But anyway, I'm going to get off of that. And then we got a Jan Van Zant, Fazant, with these brothers in the house. I will be doing a full review on that next Sunday after class. It has turned into a three-part series. And what I don't want to do is do a review on it until it has concluded. Because y'all have been kind of having me on the edge this season. I don't know about y'all, but I just been kind of on the edge with her. Um, I don't know about Ayanla. Um, what you saying out there, sweetie? I see you got all caps. Auntie, review of the O.J. Simpson confession tape just released. I did not see that. Love and Life. Um, you right, M.I. And but okay, I'll look at it and I'll do a review on it for you. But I don't know about her because I don't think that she gives these people enough time to to really process what they're going through, let alone heal. And I know she's just a facilitator. But sometimes when you dig stuff up, you got to be there to make sure that you replant. And, the last week we saw the brothers, they came in there, in this tumultuous relationship with one another. We see that they got a whole lot of issues going on. This week we see them playing bingo at the table, and she's stirring the pot and bringing some things up. And one, I did like how she recognized the oldest brother there, who they had totally ignored, and because he has learning disabilities, they've ignored him and put him on the back burner. So I was glad that he had a voice. But then she incorporated the dad into the picture, who has not been there. And now we got the mother showing up. And then now there's a sister showing up. So how do they move? You digging up all these holes. You plucking up all of this stuff. When do they have the opportunity in the midst of all this stuff going on to really move to a place of healing? I gotta wait until next week's episode and then I will come out. So in closing, let's deal with this Queen's Court drama. For all of my boos that have been out there with me, and we have been looking at this Queen's Court on the eve of Queen Supreme Court with T.S. Madison tomorrow on the 19th at 10 o'clock colored people's time. Let's deal with it. So we have been looking at a barrage, a plethora of videos talking about the Queen's Court. We have seen the rise and the fall of the Queen's Court. I frankly don't like messy stuff in my life. I will cut your ass off for messiness. I don't like it in my home. I don't like it in the workplace. I don't like it in my car. I don't like it around me, period. I don't like messy people. I avoid like the plague because I grew up thinking in my young days, believe it or not, thinking that violence solved everything. Everything. As I grew older and started working, I realized that violence solved nothing unless both parties agreed to go to war. In my 30s and my 40s, I realized that communication, learning to communicate, learning diplomacy, and learning tact, when to talk and when not to talk, was important. I learned that in my 30s and my 40s. And now in my 50s, I've learned that integrity, character is everything. Your word is everything in business and in life. Right now, my daughter and I are going back and forth because, she wants a dog. I thought I wanted a dog. I didn't want a dog. And, so we're going back and forth with that sort of thing now. And the thing that she keeps saying is that, Mommy, you said you wanted this. Your word is extremely valuable. The way that you present yourself and give yourself to the world has to be authentic. And this is what I'm learning in my 50s, to be unapologetically me. So, in different stages of your life, you learn and you pick up different things as you go along the way. So, I've been watching The Queen's Court, which is drama that I have allowed in my household. I allowed the Queen's Court into my life and into my household because I thought that for once they talked from the perspective of the people on the outside watching celebrities. They were the ones who were willing to say everything that was on our mind that we don't have the opportunity to say. And even if we did say it, they wouldn't hear it. The Queen's Court for me was the voice of the people. It was the voice of all the shady that you've ever wanted to say. The Queen's Court accomplished that for us and more. What is my Sarah saying? Okay, I'll come back and read that. Thank you for the thumbs up, you all. um, for me, Kaya was the person who was out there. She was willing to put herself out there and say what it is that we wanted to say. All the shady, foul, nasty stuff that we thought about Candy and T.I. and Remy Ma and Trina and all that. Kaya said it for us. Done, finished, she said it. Madison was that person to me who was the person, that other personality who wants to get into it, but they walk in that line of trying to keep their options open and not burn any bridges. But she was the one, that would get up and have all the action and do like all the little skits. And they were a perfect combination of all of us who have been sitting on the outside wishing that we could say the stuff that they said. They were the voice for the people. They spoke for men. They spoke for women. They spoke for children. They spoke for teenagers. They spoke for all of us. That's what they did. They just kept it all the way funky and 100, and we loved it. Because finally we got to say, what we wanted to say about the celebrities through them. It was enjoyable. Monday night, 10 o'clock, 10:15. Eyes barely open, knowing you got to get up and go to work tomorrow. But you listening to the Queen's Court on Monday night, 10:15, 10:20, 10:25, 10:30. You stayed up and you listened to the Queen's Court. Because you just wanted to hear it. It ain't nothing, wasn't nothing no better than that. Something we had not seen for a long time. And in some people's opinion, it became a real woman, transgender women issue. But really, it wasn't. That's not really what the demise was about. The demise was between two women, Kaya and Madison. But we were all so invested in the messiness of it all. You know, sometimes you have that show that you know is messy, or you looking at something that you don't need to be messing with. And you know you don't want your neighbors and your friends, your coworkers, nobody to know you looking at it. Well, that's what that was for us. It was those dirty little secrets that we like to keep. So Madison decides that she is going to up the ante. They have an interview with Monique, and she wants to up the ante. She wants it to be professional. In the meantime, and in between time, we got Nicki Minaj and other people working behind the scenes, pushing the Queen's Court. And then we got Kaya, Thug Mrs., who was sitting there in the midst of it in somebody's household, not really feeling like she has a voice in the matter. But teamwork is what makes the dream work. So you got these varying opinions. You got these two guys who come out and say, we can come out and we can do whatever you want us to do for Monique. Because see, T.S. Madison is thinking at a whole different level of um, achievement or accomplishment, because at the end of the day she began her career laying on her back or being on the back of somebody else, and so she's looking to build her career up and not be, you know, to step outside of that box and to create various income streams. And so is Kaya, but Kaya is that type of person who allegedly, you know, deals with people's energy and the zen of it all, and you know, she's a conscious woman and all that kind of stuff. And so in the background we see them break up on air. We see Kaya leave out of the household, and because the interview didn't go right, you know, the lighting wasn't right, we couldn't hear anything they were saying, and we all couldn't believe it. We couldn't believe what we were seeing. I know I couldn't. From a YouTuber's perspective, I understood it, but I couldn't believe what I was seeing, because they had allowed other people to come into their empire and to give their ideas and their opinions about what they thought should happen based on T.S. Madison's request to have the aesthetics, the stage, the props, and all of that stuff come up to another level. Neither Kaya nor T.S. Madison were wrong in that. What happened was, to me, they didn't come together. These ideas did not come together. And then at the same time, you have people who want to see you and want to share in your rise, but are nowhere to really be found in your fall. You know, when I started building out this particular YouTube channel, I searched high and low, and a lot of you all I've known for you know, the year that I've been out here. And one thing that I must say about my moderator is that I know my moderator got my heart. She's got my back. She's not out there to get any limelight or get any fame. You know, she's not out there to give me a whole bunch of grandiose ideas. She listens to what I want, and she supports what I want without an opinion, judgment, unless asked. She doesn't have a vested interest of becoming anything more than my moderator. And she's not. Oh, thank you for the Snapchat. Let me see what you're saying, Pookie. Careful, Auntie T.S. Madison got ATM blocked off YouTube for 90 days. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Bertha. But I think that what I have been what I have been seeing and what I have been, let me go back to my moderator. My moderator is my support system. She backs me, she supports me, she endorses me. There is nothing that I can't tell her and talk to her about. There's no judgment. There's no, I want you to do this. I don't have anybody in the background of my home when I come out here laughing and kikiing. If there's something wrong, if I'm frozen, if my outfit isn't right, if something's wrong, she's going to text me, she's going to tell me. And one of the things that they didn't have a lot was people who were doing that. People who were standing on the outside looking and saying, look, your dress is all the way up. Do you know that your whole bra is showing? Do you know that you're not in the frame correctly? Do you know that this doesn't look right? That everybody was there for the grins and for the giggles. So when it fell apart and it just dropped down to the ground, there was nobody around there to build it up to support it but us. Those of us who really don't have an ear, that we don't have our ear. I am one comment in the midst of 5,000 comments. I'm one comment. How do you weed me out and how do you find me? For me, going out and listening to different people's opinions and stuff like that about the Queen's Court, I've seen a lot of my subscribers out there. Didn't even think that you all were watching it. Never even addressed it on my channel because I just was like, you know what? I don't want to get into messiness. And I still don't want to get into messiness. I respect every YouTuber and I expect every YouTuber's right to be able to publish and to give their opinion. Because this is what YouTube is about. This is the principle. This is the foundation in which YouTube was built, so that everybody could be able to use use the opportunity to create a platform based on things that they want to talk about. And that's what the Queen's Court was for us. It was something that we could talk about without talking about it. It was a way of getting our hands dirty without getting our hands dirty. It was a way of us seeing and saying what we could see and say without seeing and saying it. And I, as one person, had hoped that through all the midst of it all, that they would get back together. I had cotton freaking hopes that we would see them come back together and they would set this thing straight and that we would be able to continue on with the Queen's Court as it was. But that's not going to happen, it appears. It appears that we're now looking for another host. And the only thing that I can say is support without being personally involved. Just like you do my channel. Support without being personally involved. Don't make this about a black woman, transgender, homophobic type thing, because it's not. We are all one people. When my mother was sick with cancer and was in the hospital getting blood transfusion and plasma transfusions, we didn't know where that blood came from. We didn't know the donor's name, race, nationality, ethnicity, national origin. We didn't know whether or not they were black, white, orange, red, or blue. We didn't know. All we knew that it was a human being who had blood running through their veins that matched my mother's blood type and preserved her life. That's all we knew. These are two human beings at the end of the day, y'all, who got out there and gave us joy, and now it's gone. And so now we have to make an adjustment. And we don't have to pick sides in doing that. I like both T.S. Madison and Kaya. And frankly, I don't want to choose. But I do believe when we get to be a certain age, when you know better, you do better. And I do believe that there are certain things that both of them equally have said that have caused a lot of us to be hurt, to be disappointed, to be enlightened. There's been a lot that has happened that has caused all of our eyebrows to raise up. There have been multiple YouTubers who have gone out and done videos after videos after videos after videos after videos, taking sides, with the exception of Sean Bradley. And I absolutely love that man. I love his ability to be able to deal with the facts and nothing but the facts. I love his ability to be a support to both Kaya and to T.S. Madison. To be able to rightly divide what has happened, because at the end of the day, no matter what our opinions are, the facts are what are going to remain and what's going to matter. I don't believe that this is an issue about cisgender women and natural women and biological women and men. And I don't believe any of that. And I believe when you take a side, you leave yourself closed to the possibility of finding friendship, love, romance, companionship, understanding, communication, camaraderie, collaboration with a whole world of people. When you judge one person, see, we can't judge people and then not want to be judged, because the Bible says, judge not unless you want to be judged by the same measure in which you judge. So when we go out here and we see all this stuff going on the eve of the Queen's Court, y'all, we've got to look at this open-minded, as this is just a platform for us to have a discussion. There are many times that I come out here and I have a discussion about shows and people and all kinds of personalities. And you all are welcome to make your comments, whether you agree or you disagree. But when we get to a place, like I always say on my channel, you can disagree with me and be disagreeable. You don't have to be disrespectful. And when we start being disrespectful, that's when we have a problem. Kaya and Madison, I want the best for both of them. Whether they work together or they work separately, they were a powerhouse together. And I'm going to tell you right now, your auntie is still holding out hopes that this will resolve itself. Sometimes when you fall out with your friends, you may not disagree right at that time. But you know what? It takes sometimes a sobering look. You got to sit back for a minute. You just got to sit back for a minute and realize, you know what? I value that relationship. With my moderator, I am thankful. I am so thankful that she is the person that she is, that she loves me and cares for me and supports me unconditionally. She's the kind of person that I could have sitting right here beside me. But what if we disagreed? The respect I have for her, she earned. The respect that we have for each other in the comments, we don't earn. We just give those out. They even get deleted, blocked, or whatever. And I'm hoping that the respect she has for me, that I earned it. But when we go out here and we see these different YouTubers and stuff like that, we have to understand that these are just people's opinions. And the Queen's Court is really about two people. It's not about us. So you know what, y'all, and all you're getting, get an understanding, and try not to place judgment against either one of them. Because at the end of the day, you got two human beings who are probably really, really hurting, while people are out here capitalizing and making money off of it. And I'm not going to get into all the other host of characters who have come out here and given an opinion about stuff. I'm really not. I just, it's so many allegations and so much stuff that is piled up with addresses being, distributed out, or the address wasn't given out, and the phone number was given out, and the phone number wasn't given out. Who cares? We just want entertainment. When I come out here, you all want me to entertain you. You don't want all my drama. You don't want to know, how many laundry bags I get. I mean, like, really, we don't want the drama. Right, yes. Am I scavenging off the big hill? We don't need it, and we don't want it. Pray. In the midst of the situation that's messy like this, somebody needs to pray. Somebody needs to keep a level head. And a lot of times stuff can get stirred up between it's the little foxes, they say in the Bible, that spoils the whole vine. It's the little chatter behind. Just make sure you're not a part of it. Because at the end of the day, you reap what you sow. By the same measure that you judge, you're going to be measured back. Let's pray for these two individuals, that all of this division that has been going on in our community, that it stops. Because we all are voting and doing what we do, and we're standing together, united with one another. We got each other's back at the end of the day. And it don't have nothing to do with your race, your creed, your color, your natural origin, your familial status. It doesn't have anything to do with your disability. It doesn't have anything to do with your age. It ain't about that. It's about these two individuals trying to make peace they need to make peace with one another. That's all I got to say about it. Make peace and get out there and make us laugh. Make us laugh. We want the shade. What you say? Greetings to. Okay. Thank you. I haven't seen the Austin Bomber. I will watch both channels. I do too, Bertha. If any of you all have any questions, I support them both. I do too. And I support Sean Bradley, who supports them both. I think that hi, Merlin. You say you put them glasses on, I'm speaking. And I really respect him. I have enjoyed him because he really has been keeping it all the way 100. And I think that he has now been the voice for the people. I think that he has been that voice of reason. And, in the middle of chaos and confusion, you always have to have that person who has that voice of reason, who's not taking a side, and you always want somebody who is going to make you think. And I think that Sean Bradley, for me, has absolutely, hi, Queenie Stars, my world. I think that for him, someone is putting packages on people's porch overnight, blacks, and has killed 2 people and injured 2 more in Austin, Texas. Oh my goodness, I have my faves. I support my faves. Thank you, Sarah. Oh, thank you so much. What is that? Intuitive? Oh, thank you. Yes, I have really enjoyed watching him. I'll look at what's going on with the bomber. I'm sorry, I have been inundated in books. The law. But I have been watching Sean, and he has been so encouraging to me, because I'm like him. I just want him to get back together. I just want to laugh again. All of this mud that's slinging and stuff like that. And I know, Bertha, you were saying be careful and stuff, but Michelle had, there was so many allegations against her, and then they was going back and forth, and then this person would get in, and then this person would drop tea, and then this person would say this, and then after a while it just got to the point where I was just like, oh my God, I don't want to hear it anymore. Just get back together, have a conversation. I know that I've had friends that, we've fallen out with each other over stupid stuff. And then, at the end of the day, maybe about 2 or 3 months later on, something happens and we got to get back together. And then, we have that conversation. And it was something that we could have just easily solved. Like we could have solved that right at the time. But everybody has things that are built up in their databases, and sometimes it makes it difficult. Yes, could Kaya have picked up the phone and called T.S. Madison and said, you know what, T.S., I apologize for walking out your house like that? Yeah. Could T.S. Madison have called Kaya and said, you know what, are you okay, sis? You walked out my house and everything, and you were upset, and I apologize for the stuff. It just ended up getting so messy. And so when you have a mess like that, the last thing you need is for a whole lot of outside interferences to come in. And then you got people thumbsing up this person, not thumbsing up that, and then you got accusations saying, and then sometimes people say things out of their mouth that they wish they had not said. I'm sure that there are things that both of them, if they sit down at the table and look at, they will apologize and wish that they had never said that. But in the heat of the moment, without thinking about what you're doing, you'll say something that will affect somebody else. And then if you don't really have the maturity in you to, let bygones be bygones and understand and have empathy that that person is mad at the time, it's like I said, it's nothing like feeling supported. It's nothing like, having your team say, you know what, we still your team. It's nothing like having, being all for a whole week and knowing that as soon as I plop my butt out here, forgetting to call my moderator that she's out here. There's nothing like having that genuine support, knowing that, this person got your back no matter what, and they don't have a motive or attention to do anything but to support you. Thank you, Sarah. It's nothing like being in school Mondays and Sundays and then having my child home and she says, you know what, Mom, I'll go up in my room, you go ahead on record, knowing I haven't really had that time to spend with her, for her to just say, you know what, I support what you're doing, Mom, go ahead. There's nothing like having that support, and everybody don't always have that support. And I looked at both of them, and I'm like, where's the supportive person? Where's the person on the backside that's saying, come on, you know what, enough, time out, let's pull this together. Hold up, wait a minute, both of y'all, get together, stop this stuff. We need to get this stuff. But everybody was in the background kiki and hee-hee, as long as they was making jokes and doing all the kind of stuff that they was doing, but there was nobody there to serve as the glue. When you need glue, you need somebody to support you. You need somebody to endorse you and push you and tell you to run on. It's okay. Hard times don't last always. There's going to be a day when you're going to be able to look at this and say, okay, last week, just out the blue, Sarah was like, okay, you finished this week. You did good. You finished another week of school. There's nothing more supportive or nothing more rewarding than knowing that you got people in your corner. Like y'all are out here. I know y'all got me, y'all ride or die with me. But you know what? Did they have that ride or die? No, you got a whole lot of people on this side saying, and they said this, and you should be feeling this way. And then you got somebody on this end saying, you need to say this. And, oh, she said something shady up, and then you got screen captions, and then you got clips of this and clips of that without hearing the beginning of the conversation and the end of the conversation. It's been too much. It's too much. We just want to laugh again. We just want you to shade one more celebrity. Just shade them. Be the voice of the people. That's all we want. We don't care about all this back and forth. Oh, thank you, boo. Yes, it does. Yes, it does, Emma. Yes. Thank you, A.D. Murray. All the way from, thank you, Carolyn. It's too much. It got to be too much. So from me, your auntie, to you, Let's be the people that's behind them, that's rooting for them, that supports them, up until the point where we just can't anymore. Because sometimes you do get to the point where you be like, you know what, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Thank you, Sean Bradley. You may not ever, ever, ever see it as me to even be a YouTuber. Thank you. But anyway, if you all don't have any questions for your auntie, I am going to let me see if you got any questions. Let's be the change we want to see in the world. Absolutely, Robin. Yaisky, thank you. Yep, he is the only one with sense. I love him. What's your name, sweetie? Lala ate so random. Yes. Oh, Carlos? Carly, how you get through here? Who is that? Ain't nobody telling you how big their breasts are. That's so ignorant. Bertha, thank you so much for the super chats. I appreciate it. To everybody else who super chat, yeah, he was. He was. So I'm not gonna hold y'all up any longer. I thank y'all so much for being out here with your auntie. I appreciate you all so much. Love you. Have a good week. Y'all know that your auntie will be back in class and studying her can off to try to get this cotton freaking license and to do what I need to do out here in the world. Love you all so much. I enjoyed it all. Thank you so much, Bertha. And I'll see you out there on Sean Bradley's good night, MI. Good night. I'll see you out there on his reviews. Good night, So Dominique. Good night, Tasha Smith. Yes. Good night, y'all. Good night, Admiral Salvery. Oh, thank you, Lady Marion. How nice is that? Thank you so much, CS. Thank you, Sarah. Call me tomorrow. Hi, my chocolate thunder. Hi, Carolyn Williams. Hi. Good night, y'all. Thank you so much for coming out. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, Tasha L. Yeah, girl, I'm be selling these buildings, girl. Okay, I'm be selling these buildings. Yes, I am. But anyway, thank you all for your support and your patience during this time. Love you all so much.